Thank you for joining us in the Green Room today. I'm Rob Louie from the Heritage Foundation, and today we're joined by Daniel Hannan, member of European Parliament. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
So your speeches and YouTube videos have become a hit sensation here in America. What is it about your message, particularly coming from a British politician, that you think resonates here?
Maybe that people don't like paying taxes, that people think that spending and borrowing and tax are all too high. And I don't think that's a uniquely American feeling, by the way. I think most of my constituents feel the same way. But your country having been founded in the circumstances it was, maybe that gives it an extra resonance.
Now, you wrote a book last year called The New Road to Serfdom, which is all about saving America. What interests you so much about doing that?
Well, I think you and we are heirs to a common tradition. We English-speaking peoples. I think there are a number of things that we've given to the world and that we can be very proud of. The idea that taxes shouldn't be levied or laws passed except by elected representatives. The idea that our rulers should be accountable, that our legislature should be regularly dissolved and reforged according to popular demand. The idea that decisions should be taken as closely as possible to the people they affect. The idea that the state machine should be subordinate to people that we control. When you list them like that, they sound banal. They sound almost platitudinous. But you don't have to look too far to see how easily those ideals are lost. In Britain, where because of the European Union and because of the rise of the bureaucracy at home, we are losing those fundamental principles that we fought our civil war for. Taxes are being levied without popular consent. Directives are being passed without parliamentary control. And a similar thing is taking place here. You're behind us on this road, fortunately from your point of view, but government by executive decree, trampling over states' rights, the appointment of federal czars, the shift in power from the elected representatives to the unelected functionaries, you're doing the same thing, and we're losing something very precious, which, once gone, we will miss.
But now, from your perspective, have we already crossed the tipping point? Is the United States already moving down the path of European Union-style socialism?
It's certainly moving that way. I mean, the policies being pursued by this administration all trend in that direction. European healthcare, European social security, European defense, European green taxes, European college education. But these things are reversible. And one of the great advantages of having a proper division of power, of having open primaries, of having the ability to choose your own legislators, is that you can do something about that. And from what I can tell, looking at this country, you are doing something about it.
How is President Obama being viewed right now in the UK?
I mean, he's still popular with the left, and he's still therefore popular with the dominant media narrative. It's difficult to avoid the conclusion, though, that he really doesn't like us at all. Put together some of the evidence, returning the bust of Churchill that had stood in the Oval Office since 9/11, receiving as a gift at his first summit with a British leader penholder made from the timbers of an anti-slavery vessel, and reciprocating with DVDs, a collection of DVDs, including, I think, Die Hard 3, but not Die Hard 1 or 2. Presenting the Queen, I particularly enjoyed this one, with an iPod filled with his own speeches. Those things are, if you like, etiquette, like not mentioning our contribution in Afghanistan or whatever. Then there are the real things, like lining up with Peronist Argentina in the dispute over the Falkland Islands, which the State Department has now taken to calling the Malvinas, using the Argentine name. That's a real thing. You're lining up with Hugo Chavez against us, with the Sandinistas in Nicaragua. I mean, So why should that bother you? I mean, obviously having an Anglophobic president is my problem, and it's not something we've had for a long time. But why is it your problem? Because in repudiating Britain, or as Sarah Palin would say, in refudiating Britain, he is also refudiating that bit of your constitution that came from us, which is the bit that has served to make this country prosperous and free and successful.
So where does the special relationship between the United States and the United Kingdom stand today? Is it dead?
No, because I don't think it's ever really been about governments. I mean, it's a bonus when you have these governmental partnerships as we had between Thatcher and Reagan. But I think it's based on language, on culture, on ties of blood and speech and commerce and family. Almost all of us have some kind of connection with people on this side of the Atlantic. I have a wonderful family in Philadelphia, and that makes me not at all untypical. One of the great things that's happened in the last 10 years is that the internet has drawn the English-speaking peoples into a common conversation. And so where the old elites, the old media elites in Britain used to skew not only our politics and our government, but actually our news coverage towards what was happening in continental Europe, people are, of course, left to their own devices, much more interested in what's happening in the other English-speaking democracies here in Canada, Australia, and so on. The great thing about the internet is it has abolished distance, and the accident of our happening to have geographical proximity to Europe has been overtaken by technology.
Daniel Hannan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
For the Heritage Foundation, I'm Rob Bluey. Please subscribe to more videos on our YouTube channel.